December 18th.
Motion to approve the
Okay,
minutes.
is there a second?
Second.
Okay, and, yeah, so, the four of us, Carolyn, yeah, and Eric, okay, so, and all in favor,
Oh, yes,
okay.
right.
And, now we'll move to the director's report, thanks.
So I don't have too much, but our spring program registrations started on Tuesday, and it's been going really well. A couple of things to highlight is, I sent over my director's report. From the last time that I believe I sent it, it was January 15th to February 18th, so we've had 224 registrations. I'd venture to say probably 190 of them were since Tuesday. So it's really good. We're really excited that people are starting to come in now. They're either coming in or just registering themselves online. It doesn't seem like we're taking too many phone call registrations, which is nice. So everyone's kind of in that groove. And I think what's really nice is when I first started, nobody knew when registration would be. There wasn't a lot of communication, and we would just constantly get calls. And now it's almost like everyone knows an email will be sent out right around that right time. So everyone's been really patient, and we're excited. We have been offering new programming. So a couple of things to highlight I wanted to was when we first met, when we met last month, we had the first date of the bowling. And now we had the second date, and we had 27 people registered for that. So that was really fun, and we already have 20 registered for that third date. The paint and sip that we had at Town Cove had 27 registrants, and what was so nice is they gave us like our own little section, and they sectioned it off, and everybody kept coming up asking, what is this? And all 27 want to do it again. Our instructor had a great time, so it's definitely something that we're going to do again. Do want to highlight that the Easter egg hunt is on Saturday, March 28th. The last time, I believe, I just emailed it out, but now I'm able to say it. So what we're trying to do too is with these other events, we want to see how we can get everybody aligned in town, not just separate entities. So what's really good is we spoke with the Chamber and then also Charles Moore Arena. So the Chamber is doing, for the first time, a bunny breakfast at the Yacht Club. So that'll be until like 10:30. And that'll roll right into our Easter egg hunt at 11 till about 11:30, 12, depending on how long it takes them to get the eggs. And then,
Usually like 5 minutes.
yeah, right, exactly. But then right at 12 o'clock, they'll have the open skate with the Easter Bunny at Charles Moore Arena. So it's just really nice that we're having this like cohesion now. And we've been in a lot of talks, myself with, and Amanda Converse, who's our Public Information Officer and Economic Development Coordinator. We've been having a lot of conversations on how we can streamline not just events in town, but how we can just make processes easier. And that's been Jamie's goal since she started. So, I mean, a lot of things are happening, a lot of good stuff. Registration for our playground program, which is K through 5, or Just Try It, which is the middle school, and the swim program will start on March 23rd for residents and April 20th for non-residents. So those dates will be for summer. They'll be June 29th and run until August 7th, and then we'll have one extended week. So it's kind of a twofold thing. Last year we tried to do the second week. The schools were not as cooperative because, rightfully so, they need to get everything ready, cleaned, and prepped for the school year. So that last week that we had was really difficult on them, and it put them in overdrive the final 2 weeks. And then also, our registrations really plummeted from that first week to that second week. It cut by nearly half. So we realized that that's just not that good. So this year, we're offering that extended week with the sports camp. And it was so popular that now we're partnering with Brewster with that. So they'll be coming to us as well. So a lot of good things. And then I had it in my director's report, but I know it's also separately on the agenda, the Eldridge Park renovation. So a couple of updates with that. When we last spoke, the bid was open, and it was we were taking submissions. Since then, on February 11th, at 3 p.m., it closed. We received one submission. It was Weston & Sampson. Now what we have to do is I'm working with Mike Solitro, the Special Projects Coordinator, to make sure that everything that we asked for, all our deliverables, are in there. I already read through it. He's with his children on a vacation, either on a vacation or staycation. So on Tuesday, we're just going to compare notes, make sure everything is all good and everything's supposed to be in there. Then we can award that. And then from there, all the work begins on the actual design, the actual architecture. And part of this process is we have to make sure that we get public input. We have to be able to go have a separate meeting aside from the select board meeting to make sure that we have proper input. Everybody's all on the same page with where we're at moving forward. And the hope is the tentative date is somewhere around May 15th, but things happen, right? So let's just say the end of May, possibly beginning of June, and then we will have actual plans in hand to be able to go out to bid for construction. At that time, given it'll probably be a month that we'll have that open, we'll evaluate that. And then, like we mentioned, it still looks like the time frame could potentially be the end of August, beginning of September for actual groundbreaking. So that's what I have. Please, if you have questions, anything.
What about the grant? Did you hear anything about that? The grant?
Yeah, the grant we're still waiting on. Unfortunately, there are letters from the state that we're still waiting on that needed to be submitted. We submitted them, we're waiting for them to say, yes, there's nothing historical or, there was two, and I'm sorry, off the top of my head, I forget the other one. But we're in good standing and we were still able to submit the application waiting on that. And then the other one was the outreach for the community. So we're waiting to see if they rule or deem that it's allowed without, apparently, the CPC meeting and the select board meeting where we allowed for public comment could technically be considered not enough of public outreach asking for opinion. So we're finding out if that's allowed. And what would then have to happen is to have a more public process in which this is solely the only thing on the agenda to have this conversation. Please let us know what you think. Would you like things to be added, subtracted, things like that. The other avenue, sorry, not the other avenue, the other hiccup could potentially be they don't like dealing with estimates. And what we have are estimated costs. The state.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's how it's always been. I don't know if now, just because they're a little more leery of the federal funding coming in, I can't answer why. But in my experience, I haven't dealt with something like that where accurate estimates from a design firm could not be utilized.
Do you wonder what the timeline was when P-Town applied and got?
Yeah, I think I will look into that with P-Town. But again, I think the good thing is, because this is a project that could potentially span into FY '27, there's like a park grant, the PARC grant, that we could go for in May, which will definitely have concrete numbers, but it's still open. I didn't get a no.
Tom, as far as the public outreach goes, the whole community center slash rec, and there were really two projects that had consultants that delivered reports that had all sorts of public.
I even submitted those.
Oh, okay.
It needs to be on the project itself. So, like, for instance, like the campus study does not count because it's not specifically just Eldridge Park. And then the community center study, with that, it doesn't count.
It's too bad, because it really.
But, like I said, I'm not saying it's a no, I'm just saying that those were things that were brought up, and then I had to submit, rationale. But we'll see.
I have a question, and I apologize if it's like too soon, but just with the way that the project works with the shape of the plan, right, with that little half court up on the middle school, one thing that sort of keeps sticking for me is if the priorities, which I agree with, are closer to Eldridge Parkway, doesn't doing that part of the project before that little last corner close off that little last corner to construction? Like, does that make sense? Because you're not gonna
I'm
put
sorry,
in,
yeah,
like,
can you, I'm trying to
whiteboard and, no.
So you're
like,
saying the top portion.
Here's the top, like
Yeah.
here, right? That little half court, if we do all this for
On the bottom.
top priority stuff out here, and then we've still got this little piece back here, how do we get to that little piece with the big machines? Because you're not gonna drive a bulldozer across the new playground and the new pickleball
No.
courts, and that would mean using that middle school parking lot, which I think would understandably be something that the school would not, do you know what I mean? So in
Yeah,
a
so
perfect
I think
world,
that
they'd have all
I-
the funding, you'd start from that corner and work your way
Correct.
out.
So I
Since we
think-
don't have that, I'm just wondering.
I think it would be twofold. One, the hope is, again, we were dealing with estimated costs, and we were dealing with, this is our wish list, put it on paper. When we get to the design, and we actually decide what is in and what is out, there still could be a potential that we're very close with the money that we have of the 3.8 million, that we could potentially get most, if not all, right? There's
At
that
least like a
potential.
concrete pad or
There-
something,
There's,
right?
there's
And then-
potential,
yeah.
right? Which then would make it easier to be able to say, okay, all we need to do is install X, Y, and Z, right? When we do get more money. The other option is when we sit down with this firm and we are deciding what the priorities are, and we're saying, put these adults in, we want to make sure that if funding does get secured, what is your operation on how you will construct, right? Then the other option is, then we would just wait until the summertime if we did get more funding, and then we would use like where the solar panels are as like the staging area, obviously getting approval from the school, but that would negate anything going on during the school year and using that upper echelon part, the upper parking lot.
It's also, summer is also during,
Firebirds.
Yeah, Firebird.
Yeah, but, I mean, it, again, we need to find out how much material they would actually need, and if within that consultation of us with the final design, could it be pour the concrete padding already in? So now we don't need the big machines, it's a matter of, well, how much do you really need? Oh, you only need a week because you're bringing in X equipment, you know, that's a question I don't have the answer to, which is why we do have professionals helping us assist with that. But I will make sure that that's at least in our forefront of our process, because like you said, once that bottom gets built, we're not driving through
Yeah.
there, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then the other thing I wondered about is, part of the stickiness with CPC last fall was the timing. So is there a way to sort of keep one eye on the CPC calendar timeline while we're moving ahead with like bringing in Weston and Sampson and get in late May or June, so that if there is another ask, we're not
To
in,
CPC?
yeah, we're not in the same boat of showing up in August with, do you know, because that was something they really didn't like.
Well, but the normal schedule is like a November cutoff for grant applications, so you were out of,
We were completely out of,
you,
well,
you wanted an answer by town meeting.
yeah,
That was, yeah, you were off schedule for the first ask, but the normal schedule is November, so I think that would.
for that following, yeah, okay, we would be okay. We wouldn't be okay for fall town meeting.
Yeah,
But
I
we probably
think
won't have an ask, is that what the thinking?
by May,
By fall?
By fall.
Like by fall, if we know we need another 200,000 to finish a court,
I feel like by June, we would know,
yeah, so.
right? We would know, and then that ask, because I know we started that ask in August of last year, so, I mean, it would definitely be before that. But yes, so it would fall in line with that.
Like, I know we
Yeah.
were able to push back against that concern, or not push back, but
Yeah.
work
It's
with
better
that
not to
concern,
have
but
it,
it would be
yeah.
great to not
Yeah.
show up again.
Because they consider that an
Here they come
special
again,
exception.
yeah,
And-
rolling
right.
in when they want
Right.
to, asking for what they want to, you know, it would be nice to avoid that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
absolutely.
I was just gonna say, so that funding, so the funding that the CPC is voting on this spring is available July 26th. So if they voted on something next spring, it's available July 27. So does that work with the cash flow that we would?
Well, the ask, first off, we don't know if we would be asking CPC,
Right.
so I don't want to speak for
You're right.
town manager's
Yeah.
office or select board.
Right.
But let's just say that we're to play, I think we'd be asking it at fall town meeting for FY '27.
Okay, so that puts
Correct.
us off schedule again.
Well,
Well, no, because we already have, the
relationship between the fall town meeting vote and the spring town meeting ask is a little unusual, right? Because they committed to it, but they're
You still
approving
don't
it.
fund it until,
Yeah.
the funds are available always July 1.
Yeah.
that's the
But we-
the CPC money,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but we needed to know that there was a commitment to the funds in order to go out to bid.
Okay.
So that's why we
I
couldn't.
understand
wait.
now what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying, does that work? If we got money in July of 2027, would that work for the cash flow of this project?
Yeah,
It's a good question, it would, right?
Well, I'm thinking about the project, the way you're describing it, ground breaks in September, probably isn't gonna be complete by the following May, right? How long do you think it's,
It should be.
we don't get a winter like this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it should, before we had the winter like we did, I mean, it would be completed.
So if that's the case, I think it makes CPC a moot point altogether, because
We wouldn't
even
have
if
the
they,
funding.
even if we ask them for something this fall, the money's not going to be available until July
if-
of 27.
So that would be, right, these are the scenarios that we have to, that's if we needed more than the 3.8 with the add-on in place. To where, if we were asking in the fall for that money to be, I guess that would be FY '28, that would just be the add-all, and that would just be a secondary installation. So I mean, we'd still have the other part of the project done, so at least we'd have that, and then the ask or other types of funding sources at that point
Would be
could
for the
exactly.
completion
It would
or
just be months later.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
so-
at some point, the band shell has to get figured out. And I don't know how long it's gonna take to figure that out,
Yeah.
but it would be, if you're talking about like stage 2 of that project, I think it'd be nice to get the band shell
Yeah.
figured out in that.
Who owns that conversation?
I think that's one, oh, who owns the conversation?
About the band
Probably the
shell.
town.
Yeah.
But the.
Like who would have?
The participant, the Firebirds clearly have a big stake in that.
Yeah,
And I think they might, the town, I think the Firebirds probably are the only stakeholders in that building right now. And, you know, the more this is just me talking, the more I look at that, the more I think that, you know, we shouldn't be trying to recreate the band shell. We should just be looking to put in like a locker room and public toilets, and then that's it.
I think Johnny Kelly just, maybe, it must have been fall because it wasn't their Springtown meeting, but I think they had a CPC to make their facility at Johnny Kelly Park year-round, with bathrooms that were accessible year-round.
And they were able to use CPC funding for that?
Well, something.
Okay.
They were, I don't know, I just know
I
they're
just-
making I know CPC
Yeah.
has limits, so maybe it was a different funding source, but I know they had a list of projects and one of them was to, and it was partly because of their summer rec program, wanting, well, to improve the building for summer rec, but also that the property is getting year-round use,
Yeah.
so making the facilities accessible year-round.
Well,
was
if the select board is so
considered
inclined, I have no problem having an office there.
Yeah.
That would be very nice. Right, centrally located by everything, so.
I mean, you could watch Firebirds
Yeah.
games in the summer, yeah.
It actually makes sense.
It makes
Yeah.
total sense when you think about it.
And, I mean,
This
storage.
doesn't have
and-
anything to do
yeah.
with not having any
But-
water across the street for the
I-
last
I'm- Didn't make the conversation any harder to have, but.
But it is true, I mean, if you look at, I know the relationship that just going to Wellfleet so much over the years.
Yeah.
The relationship I have with Becky and her staff is because they're right there.
Yeah, yeah, and it makes a huge difference. We don't have, like, I know that that's not their office year-round, but they're there constantly in the summertime, and it's just, I can only imagine how much easier it would be that we don't have to get into our cars to drive to both of the camps
Yeah.
and all of the different things. Absolutely. Yeah. Barring a DPW truck, let me tell you, I get very nervous driving those things. But driving them, taking all the equipment, going in, yeah, absolutely, it'd be much easier. But,
Well,
so, keep,
Okay, conversation for another day.
yeah.
are there any other questions?
Yeah. Is there a list of the spring activities that people could sign up for other than on the internet?
Yes, we have pamphlets.
Because you did make a nice pamphlet, okay.
Yeah, we do.
Can I be a part of distributing those, or is somebody doing that? Like the library
If you-
has a rack and,
If you would like to, absolutely. I
Yeah.
can tell you that when we print out, we always have so many copies left over when we did it in the fall and winter. So we can absolutely print out copies for you if you wanted to distribute.
yeah, I'd like to do that.
Okay.
You know, where do you put them when you do that?
So we put them here in the fall, and we put them out by us, and then we talked to the COA. We never got a chance to bring them over there, but when we put them here, even right out in the vestibule, none of them got taken.
Wow.
Yeah, I would include the library.
Library,
but-
definitely,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the heartbeat.
Sure.
And you may not need to print as many, but having some printed, I think is good.
I appreciate that. I'm curious, after I read about Wellfleet's old proposition for a community center that would be regional, are we included in that?
We are not.
Ooh.
We were all just as surprised as you are when that came out, but I don't know.
Ooh.
Who is it with then?
Wellfleet,
Truro?
Eastham, Truro, and Provincetown, there'd be property. I don't know if it would have been on Wellfleet property or on Eastham property, but there was a discussion and a study to be had. But that, I don't wanna, I don't know anything. I just know that sounds like logistical gymnastics to be able to delineate who gets what time and things like that. But no, we
Yeah.
haven't been
Okay,
involved.
okay.
Yeah. Pamphlets.
Given the players, I have my doubts that would really come together.
Yeah.
Was this the one with the pool?
I
Yeah.
don't,
Still
I'm not,
pretty
I'm not positive,
Yeah.
but yeah,
They're proposing that.
yeah. But again, I think that's all just, I think right now it's
There's
just a
some-
study.
few different options.
It was
but
in
like
the Provincetown
tea time
Independent.
could have been one of them.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
they're looking at options.
Did they give a price on what it could be?
I don't recall, I just recall seeing the article in the Provincetown Independent, and that is the, like, kind of the, it always, they do some stuff for Orleans, but it usually ends in
Yeah.
Eastham, that's sort of their reporting.
Yeah. The only other question I had was, budget timeline, are you already up and, like, is,
Yeah, I mean, I literally just mimicked last year and then plus 3% for salaries of all employees because that's just the COLA, this cost of living. But other than that, it's actually, we dropped it down $300 because we don't mail anymore, so I was able to take that off. Right now, I believe they're going through the process with the finance committee, select board and finance
Yeah,
committee.
I've been away, but the process
Yeah.
has started. I don't know when
Yeah.
we'll actually be seeing the, this almost final.
But no major changes, no major asks. Last year, there was a jump of the $25,000 because that is in line for events, like such as the fireworks. But it wasn't a raising of the overall budget because it was just allocated from a different line item, but now it just falls under recreation. Other than that, there's really been no real changes. If you want, I can get you.
maybe just the next meeting, if there's like a polished.
You've
pass.
increased like the number of activities, that doesn't cost more, or,
No.
because you.
Because
Taking in.
so we do it in a couple of different avenues, right? So the first thing is if we have volunteers, the only overhead we really have is the equipment for the programming, such as like a field hockey program. Someone reached out to us and said, listen, I'd really like to do this. The middle school's getting involved, so great. So we just invested in some sticks and balls that we know could also be utilized for summer camp.
Yeah.
That comes out of our short life equipment fund, which we didn't use all of last year. But then the other avenue for programs is like when Erica came to us for the skateboarding clinic, and we were just able to pay pay the instructors, and that just, what we do is we just look at how much we made and then we're able to take out of that, so. Some comes out of the revolving account, but not much. Right now, we're building that up, so that'll be a very good revenue source at some point.
And the, like, paint and sip and bowling, like the fees cover?
Yeah, yeah, so that's one of the things that we do. We sit down after we figure out if we're going to run this, then how much do we have to charge residents? And then how much do we have to charge non-residents to just ensure we at least break even? We're not looking to make any money on any program, just as long as you don't lose money,
Yeah,
you know, so, but yeah, same exact concept.
But if I could jump in, that's something that you should be prepared to talk about, especially if the finance committee asks, because the subject of user fees and self-sufficiency always comes up.
Yeah, so, I mean, when or if that time ever comes up, the unfortunate truth is $131,000 comes out of seasonal employees and the part-time employees. If we had to take that money, if we had to take in registration to cover that for just our summer camp, that $150 or $200 that parents are spending for 6 weeks shoots up to $500 to $600 to $700.
I'm not talking about actually trying to get to.
No, yeah.
But I'm just saying it's always, people are interested in knowing when the day is over, the operation of recreation is supported by this amount of fees.
Yeah.
So it isn't all just coming out of the general fund.
Does the number of people doing the kind of daily summer, the youth, you know, the school-age kids
Yeah.
that are in the summer, is that increasing, decreasing?
We saw an increase 2 years ago from the year prior. Last year, couple extra children, just a couple. Like not, I wouldn't even say more than 10 for each program. The only reason why we can't go up anymore, because we had children on the wait list both of the last 2 years, it's just staffing. And then the biggest issue is what we're able to pay our counselors, as opposed to what other towns or other jobs can do.
So you do cap it?
We do cap. So yeah, so what we do is no matter what, we have, right now we know how many children, how many staff members are coming back from last year. Right off of that, we do the 12-to-1 ratio. That's what we feel comfortable with. And what we do is that's what we'll cap it at in the beginning. Then when we interview, when we get a leader in training, when we get another counselor, we are able to say, okay, we can add it up. But we always want to be safe, so we'll cap it at a certain number and then be able to take off that wait list. Yeah. But the leader in training program, since that was brought up, last year we had 2 leader in trainings. This year we already have 3 applications.
Wow.
So it's just a matter of them being responsible, knowing that it's not just a daycare service for the children that are 13, but those 2 girls that were leader in trainings are now going to be counselors this year. So they wanted to come back and now they're getting paid.
Great.
And I think what's really cool is when I first started, we had 2 girls working just as normal playground instructors is what we call them. Last year we were able to promote one of them to summer camp director, and this year we have a second one. So I was able to watch both of them grow into adults, both in college, and now they're our summer directors. And that's just so cool to see, and hopefully we have them for the next 3 years until they graduate college. But it's just really cool to see how we have this pipeline and we're feeding into our own programs. And who knows, maybe one of those girls that was a leader in training could potentially be a director in 10 years, you know? So really fun, really cool things.
I will also, I'm not sure who the second one is, but I know one of the people you're talking about, and also just an exceptional, she's an exceptional person, but has clearly benefited from working with you and Yvonne and sort of learned the ropes.
Yeah.
So I think I've said before, I remember Ann Sigsby talking about Nauset Beach having such a good reputation for the people who work there, and I think that's right where you are now with
Yeah.
with that. You know what I mean? That people know that their kids are going to be really well prepared as employees.
That's
so.
great to hear. That's all we can ask
Yeah,
for,
it's
right?
a big deal.
And the hope is, we have these 5th graders that I first started out with. Some of them are gonna be in 9th grade next year, so hopefully we can get some of them to work, you know, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Anything else?
Yeah, question, this is probably my error in not finding it. Do we have contact list of members on the board, or do you not do that, like emails?
Well, everything, when you're receiving emails,
Yeah.
everyone else's email will be on
Oh,
at the top, so
Oh.
like the agenda that I
Yeah.
sent will have everyone, I think Jamie was on there too, so everyone should be at the top, yeah.
okay, well, I saw the names, but I didn't know that.
If you click on it,
Oh, you
you'll
click on
see
it?
the whole
Oh,
email
thank you.
address.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if it doesn't work, shoot me an email and I'll put them
Okay,
in
no,
another
I
form for you, I'm
know
happy
to
to
do
do
that.
that.
So can I say, has everybody done their conflict of interest? Because the emails are one of the things that's a little bit problematic.
Yeah, I figured there
Oh,
was gonna be a reason.
And actually, I'm not sure, has anybody, have you gotten emails about conflict of interest training or anything like that?
I don't,
I
The
did,
years
Yeah,
previous, but
yeah,
not this
like-
year.
I took it again.
Do we have to
I-
do
I
it
do
every
what I
year?
do.
I think it's every year.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you'll get a reminder, you
Yeah.
probably did.
Yeah, so you should just check and see.
Yeah, it's about, like,
It
don't
doesn't take
reply all.
it doesn't take any time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't have anything, you can call, the
Town clerk.
or the town clerk or the manager, or the town manager's office, and Molly probably would be able to figure it out for you.
it's funny, I remember when this committee started and we hadn't done any, it was my first experience with all that stuff, and it was when Maura Healy was still the Attorney General, and I used to say to Sharon, if Maura pulls into the driveway, we didn't do any, not that we were talking when we shouldn't be, but I lived in fear of breaking open, because you, because
Actually,
it
I should have said
seems-
open meeting, not.
because it
yeah.
seems so, I can't do this, but I can't do this, but this, and then once you get warmed up,
Right.
Yeah.
it's second nature, and you know what to avoid, but I remember being being petrified of messing up open
Getting thrown in
meetings.
the
Oh my
sand.
God, I was like, what if I
Put it in
look
the
at Sharon
emails.
across the room and, yeah,
And
I
every
was
state
very.
is different, and that's why
Oh.
one time when
Oh, see,
there
I
was a
better
public,
stay here then.
but then when there was a public speak here,
Yeah.
and someone said something, and I was like, okay, I'm going to respond, and then you guys were like, no, you
Yeah.
cannot, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, normally. It's... So, but yeah, so you learn as you go sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, with that then, I will look for a motion to adjourn.
Quick question,
Oh,
all
sure.
meetings are gonna be 5 now instead of 6, which I like.
I think Jamie's, I think we're
Okay.
gonna go for 5.
Okay, good,
Yep,
I like it.
yep. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank